Hello and welcome live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Newshour. I'm Gautam Roy, and coming up over the next 1 hour. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi visits Gir on World Wildlife Day, releases the first ever riverine dolphin estimation report in the National Wildlife Board meet at the world's only Asiatic lion sanctuary. Zelenskyy tells Putin to stop attacking Ukraine if Russia wants peace. European Commission chief says she'll put forth a plan to rearm Europe on Tuesday as allies evaluate options for a ceasefire. The Hamas says Israel is trying to push back the Gaza situation to square one as Tel Aviv proposes a temporary extension into April without any further truce talks immediately. And a Cinderella story with a twist, Anora sweeps the Academy Awards, wins 5 Oscars including Best Picture, Best Director and Best Actress. Adrian Brody triumphs with the second Oscar for The Brutalist. But today is World Wildlife Day. To highlight the issue of wildlife conservation and India's efforts on that front, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited the Gir National Park in Gujarat, which is home to the majestic Asiatic lion. The PM not only got to witness the results of how the nation's conservation efforts have borne fruit, but he also chaired a meeting of the National Board for Wildlife in Gir, where more steps were initiated to preserve and proliferate India's flora and fauna.
A lioness grooming her cub in India's Gir National Park. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi had the privilege to capture such treasured moments in his lens among the majestic carnivores on World Wildlife Day during a visit to the nation's Asiatic lion sanctuary. From just a handful remaining during the colonial period, the Asiatic lion population in Gir has climbed to 675, numbers which stand testimony to India's wildlife and forest conservation efforts. The PM urged all to visit Gir and also remarked about India's conservation efforts on social media, saying, over the last decade, the population of tigers, leopards, rhinos have risen too, indicating how deeply we cherish wildlife and are working to build sustainable habitats for animals. The day also saw Prime Minister Modi chairing the 7th meeting of the National Board of Wildlife in Gir. It reviewed wildlife conservation initiatives undertaken by the government, highlighting achievements in the creation of new protected areas and species-specific flagship programs such as Project Tiger, Project Elephant, Project Snow Leopard, among others. The board also discussed conservation efforts for the Indian river dolphins and Asiatic lions and the establishment of the International Big Cats Alliance. Key steps were also taken during the meeting where the Prime Minister released the first ever riverine dolphin estimation report in the country. The report estimated a total of 6,327 river dolphins. The PM laid the foundation stone of National Referral Centre for Wildlife at Junagadh. He announced the 16th Asiatic lion population estimation to be conducted in 2025. He also announced the establishment of Centre of Excellence to deal with human-wildlife conflict at the Salam Ali Centre for Ornithology and Natural History, or SECON, in Coimbatore. The PM also declared that cheetah introduction will be expanded to Gandhi Sagar Sanctuary in Madhya Pradesh and Banni grasslands in Gujarat. He also announced a new project for gharials and a National Great Indian Bustard Conservation Action Plan. He stressed on using remote sensing and geospatial mapping and AI and machine learning to combat issues like forest fires and human-animal conflicts. He further underscored the importance of ease of traveling and connectivity for wildlife tourism. The use of AI was also advocated for documentation of traditional knowledge, where it has been successful in conservation of lions and leopards in Gir, so it can be used at other national parks and sanctuaries. With Gautam Roy, Amit Mukherjee for DD India.
Well, truly, India leads in wildlife conservation. more than 3,682 tigers to 675 Asiatic lions. India's efforts are setting global benchmarks. Community participation in key projects like Project Snow Leopard ensure a thriving ecosystem. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya reports further.
India, with just 2.4% of the world's land, is the biodiversity powerhouse, contributing 8% of global biodiversity. Rooted in a culture of conservation, India under Prime Minister Modi's leadership has achieved a remarkable milestone in protecting its wildlife. Home to world's largest tiger population, India now boasts of 3,682 tigers with 57 tiger reserves safeguarding their future. The Asiatic elephant thrives here too, with around 30,000 elephants roaming its forests. India also sheltered the largest population of one-horned rhinoceros, numbering 3,000, and is the only country where the Asiatic lions, whose number have risen from 525 in 2015 to 675 in 2020. The Indian leopard's population has also seen a 75% surge, reaching 13,874 in 2022. Even the reintroduction of cheetahs has been hailed as a conservation triumph. Projects like Crocodile Conservation Initiative have rescued its population of gharials and other crocodiles. Meanwhile, Project Snow Leopard protects the elusive snow leopards with an estimation of 718 in the wild. Local communities are unsung heroes of India's conservation stories. Their efforts in shielding endangered species, monitoring wildlife have been pivotal to their success. India's wildlife conservation journey is a testament to the power of culture, community, and commitment. Together, they ensure that these majestic creatures continue to thrive for generations to come. With camperson Shiv Suman, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from Gir National Forest in Gujarat.
And we'll be talking about this a little later in the show as well with a special guest, but let's move on for the time being. Belgium's King Philippe's sister, Princess Astrid, is on a 7-day official visit to India, leading a delegation of 335 members and 180 companies. On Monday, India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh met Princess Astrid and his counterpart Theo Fraken in New Delhi. The leaders discussed issues related to regional security and the possibility of defence engagements in the Indo-Pacific. India's External Affairs Minister also met Princess Astrid of Belgium. The External Affairs Minister expressed confidence that the Princess's visit will foster greater collaborations for a stronger India-Belgium and India-EU partnership. Earlier, Dr. S. Jaishankar met Belgium's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Maxime Prévost at Hyderabad House in New Delhi. Highlighting strong ties, Dr. Jaishankar emphasized the potential for a more contemporary partnership focusing on semiconductors, AI, clean energy, research and innovation.
Of course, have always been good. Belgium was one of the first European countries to establish an embassy in independent India. Today has the possibility of growing in a more contemporary format. We are discussing, semiconductors and AI and clean energy and research and innovation.
Now, India is a global flag bearer of inclusive growth with effective government policies, says a latest study by economists Surjit Bhalla and Karan Bhasin. Among the startling data sets it has brought forth, it says extreme poverty in India, which stood at 12.2% in 2011-12, has come down drastically just to 1% by 2023-24. Take a look.
growth story is a testament to the effectiveness of its government's policies, which have significantly reduced economic inequality and eliminated extreme poverty in the country. Former Executive Director of the IMF for India, Surjit S. Bhalla, along with economist Karan Bhasin, has made a groundbreaking revelation in their new study. In their paper titled 4 Facts on Inclusive Growth in India, published this month, they highlight remarkable progress, drawing on data from the National Statistical Office's Household Consumption Expenditure Survey for 2022 to 2023 and 2023 to 2024. According to their key findings, the poorest segments of the society have benefited the most, with a noticeable increase in the consumption of food, essential goods, and durable items. As a result, extreme poverty, measured using the World Bank's $1.9 purchasing power parity or the PPP poverty line, which stood at 12.2% in 2011-2012 but has drastically reduced to just 1% by 2023 to 2024. Even at $3.65 PPP, which is more suitable for lower middle income economies, poverty has sharply declined from 52.8% in 2011 to 2012 to just 15.6% in 2023 to 2024. This transformation is largely driven by a significant increase in domestic per capita monthly consumption expenditure.
In terms of policies, I think the big story is employment growth. Between 2004 and 2011, employment growth in India was only about 1 million a year. Since 2014-15, employment growth has been upwards of 10 million a year. So that has clearly helped in terms of poverty alleviation.
The study further highlights a historic reduction in consumption inequality, which has dropped from 37.5 in 2011 to 2012 to 29.1 in 2023 to 2024. This marks the most rapid decline in inequality ever recorded in 6 decades of consumption survey data. Economists now argue that the official poverty lines established under the Tendulkar and Rangarajan frameworks decades ago are no longer relevant. With extreme poverty nearly eradicated, a fresh approach is needed to better reflect today's economic realities. As India aims to become a developed country by 2047, this report showcasing the country's inclusive development provides a hopeful outlook for a brighter, more prosperous future. Bureau Report, DD, India.
India's Housing and Urban Affairs Minister Manohar Lal Khattar, in the presence of Rajasthan Chief Minister Bhajan Lal Sharma, inaugurated the 12th Regional 3R and Circular Economy Forum in Jaipur on Monday. A key memorandum of understanding for Cities 2.0 was also signed, marking a significant step in India's urban sustainability initiatives. Addressing the event, the Union Minister said that Cities 2.0 initiative is a significant step towards the direction of Swachh Bharat and Atmanirbhar Bharat.
2.0 क्लाइमेट एडेप्टेशन और सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी की दिशा में अगला कदम है। 31 मई 2023 को यूनियन कैबिनेट द्वारा सिटीज 2.0 को मंजूरी दी गई थी। ये कार्यक्रम प्रधानमंत्री के विजन के अनुरूप है, जो स्वच्छ, हरित और आत्मनिर्भर भारत की दिशा में एक महान कदम है।
Professor Dr. Vasilin Popovsky of Soka University in Japan and former judge of Supreme Court of Hawaii, U.S. Justice Michael Wilson, visited the Gati Shakti and One District One Product Experiential Center in New Delhi's Bharat Mandapam. Both Popovsky and Wilson experienced the progress and projects under the PM Gati Shakti through an immersive 3D experience. While the two also visited the ODOP Experiential Center and learnt about the unique handicraft products from over 700 districts in India. They were also showcased some of the unique products from different parts of the country. After the experience, both Popovsky and Wilson shared their experience and said that the world has to learn from India and Prime Minister Modi's vision of developing India.
Impressive, somehow captured, synergized everything beautiful and diverse I have already experienced. So on the ODP, I think connecting the districts in terms of manufacturing various products, specializing the talent of India. Every district can offer so much, and so many sectors of the industries. We see that beautiful multicolor India, that diverse India, which is one of the most diverse countries. Every time I hear Prime Minister talking, I get kind of energy in myself to do better. And I'm sure those 1.5 million Indians, but also many foreign audience, he's speaking to foreign audiences as well, are similarly energized and inspired by to do as best as possible.
Vision of the Prime Minister is an example of the kind of leadership that's bold, that takes into consideration an entire country. And that is breathtaking in its courage. But also, there is the talent and the brilliance of India behind this program. It is one that includes moving fast, but moving fast in a way that uses the best technology and recognizes that the environment has to be protected as well. So this is a model for the rest of the world, and it'd be very helpful for my state in the United States, which is Hawaii. We have great transportation problems, and if we can call upon the Prime Minister's vision to help us in Hawaii, we would be blessed.
And still to come on DD India Newshour. Pakistani and Afghan security forces clash at a border crossing. Bangladesh Supreme Court upholds Khaleda Zia's acquittal in a major case. And the first ever visit by India's Minister of State for External Affairs, Pavitra Margarita, to the Bahamas.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Newshour. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, Pakistani and Afghan forces traded fire overnight at the northwestern Doordarshan border crossing that has been closed for more than a week over a dispute between the two neighbors. The Taliban-run Afghan Interior Ministry said that the latest firing took place overnight and one Taliban fighter had been killed and 2 injured. The conflict erupted on the first working day of the holy Islamic month of Ramadan, when food imports from Pakistan usually peak in Afghanistan. Both the countries in the past closed Doordarshan and the southwestern Chaman border crossing over deadly shootings and crossfire. The crossings are vital for trade and travel between Pakistan and landlocked Afghanistan. The Bangladesh Supreme Court has upheld a High Court order that acquitted Bangladesh Nationalist Party or BNP chairperson Khaleda Zia, scrapping her 7-year jail term in the Zia Charitable Trust graft case. A 3-member tribunal led by Senior Justice Mohammad Ashfaqul Islam passed the order. In November 2023, the High Court had acquitted Zia and 2 others in the Zia Charitable Trust case. The court also scrapped the lower court's verdict that sentenced Khaleda and 2 others in the same case. The BNP leader, along with 7 others, was handed 7 years rigorous imprisonment each in the Zia Charitable Trust corruption case in 2018, along with a fine of 10 lakh, that's 1 million Bangladeshi taka each, and in default to suffer 6 more months in jail. Now, Israel has announced to halt all humanitarian aid into Gaza in an effort to pressure the Hamas to accept new terms in the ceasefire agreement. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that Israel has accepted a US plan to extend the ceasefire in Gaza temporarily. However, the Hamas has rejected this plan, demanding a permanent ceasefire. DD India's Rahul Padhyay brings us more.
The latest military actions by Israeli forces in Rafah and Khan Yunis in southern Gaza has heightened fears among Palestinians that the ceasefire could collapse entirely after Israel imposed a total blockade on the shattered enclave. Israel has announced it will halt all humanitarian aid into Gaza, aiming to pressure Hamas into accepting new terms for extending the ceasefire agreement. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stated that Israel has accepted a US plan to extend the ceasefire in Gaza by 50 days. However, Hamas has rejected this plan, demanding a permanent ceasefire.
Israel has accepted President Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff's plan to extend the temporary ceasefire by 50 days. During that time, we can discuss the conditions for a permanent ceasefire that will end the war in Gaza. In Witkoff's plan, half of the hostages would be released right away, and the remaining half would be released if we reach an agreement on a permanent ceasefire. Again, Israel has accepted this plan, I accepted this plan, but so far, Hamas has rejected it. Hamas had also put forward positions for a permanent ceasefire that are totally unacceptable.
A senior Hamas leader speaking to the press reiterated that they would only release the remaining Israeli hostages under the terms of the already agreed upon phased deal. The group has rejected the idea of a temporary extension to the 42-day truce. Meanwhile, hundreds of Israeli protesters blocked the road outside the Prime Minister's residence, vowing to stay until the government agrees to a deal that will bring home all the remaining hostages. Israeli police set up barricades to prevent the protesters from getting too close to Netanyahu's private residence as demonstrators lit flares and bonfires. Rahul Upadhyay's report for DD India.
And in another theatre of conflict, hectic diplomatic efforts remain on to find a peaceful solution to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. But peace still appears to be a distant dream. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has called for real security guarantees before any peace deal, while Russia says Kyiv regime wants the war to continue and the need of the hour is to force Zelenskyy to make peace. Meanwhile, Europe gears up for massive surge in defense spending amid a call by European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen to rearm Europe. Here's a detailed report.
Huddling in London over the weekend, European leaders declared that they would work to pull together a plan to end the war in Ukraine. The UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer called it a once-in-a-generation moment and added that UK would back its commitment with boots on the ground and planes in the air.
First, we will keep the military aid flowing and keep increasing the economic pressure on Russia to strengthen Ukraine now. Second, we agreed that any lasting peace must ensure Ukraine's sovereignty and security, and Ukraine must be at the table. Third, in the event of a peace deal, we will keep boosting Ukraine's own defensive capabilities to deter any future invasion. Fourth, we will go further to develop a coalition of the willing to defend a deal in Ukraine and to guarantee the peace.
President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, said the group will soon present a plan for rearming Europe.
Tomorrow, I will inform the member states through a letter about the Rearm Europe plan. We need a massive surge in defense without any question. We want lasting peace, but lasting peace can only be built on strength.
NATO chief Mark Rutte said that more European countries will ramp up defense spending and added that the US was committed to the transatlantic alliance despite frequent criticism by Trump.
More European countries will ramp up defense spending. Of course, the UK announced this last Tuesday.
The meeting in the United Kingdom followed close on the heels of a disastrous meeting of the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy with President Donald Trump at the White House. Reacting to Europe's stand in the London summit, Kremlin said that pledges made by European leaders will not help bring about a peaceful resolution to the conflict.
Statements were heard over there that funding of Ukraine must be increased. This clearly does not relate to a peace plan, but for the continuation of hostilities. This is our understanding. The rest will depend upon what the peace plan will be developed and brought up for discussion.
The Kremlin further said that someone needed to force Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy to make peace. The Kiev regime and Zelenskyy do not want peace. They want the war to continue. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has announced that Ukraine is ready to sign a minerals agreement with the United States. He stressed that ceasefire without guarantees will be a failure and said that continued US support is very important for Ukraine.
It will be a failure for everyone if Ukraine is forced into a ceasefire without serious security guarantees. Imagine a week later, the Russians will hit us and we will shoot at their side, totally understandably. And what will it be?
On the other hand, the United Nations Rights Chief has expressed deep concern over a fundamental shift in direction by the United States under President Donald Trump, warning that divisive rhetoric is being used to deceive and polarize people. Raghav Kumar Jha's report for DD India.
At least 2 people were killed and several others injured after a car drove into a crowd of people in the western German city of Mannheim. The police said one suspect had been arrested in connection with the incident. The incident took place as crowds gathered in cities across western Germany's Rhineland for parades to mark the carnival season. A black SUV drove at high speed into people, knocking over several pedestrians in Planken. In recent weeks, this is the 3rd such incident in Germany, causing a lot of sensation. India's Minister of State for External Affairs, Pavitra Margarita, who is on an official visit to the Bahamas, met and interacted with the Indian community there. On social media, the minister said that he is delighted to connect with the vibrant and closely connected Indian community there. Further, he also highlighted that the diaspora plays a key role in strengthening India-Bahamas cultural ties. The MOS for External Affairs began his 2-day official visit to the Bahamas on Sunday, where he will stay till the 4th of this month. Nepal's Vice President Ram Sahai Prasad Yadav congratulated the Nepal Council of World Affairs on its 77th anniversary on Monday. The Nepal Council of World Affairs organization was established in 1948 as a non-profit committed to foreign policy deliberations. On the occasion, Vice President Sahai emphasized nation first, politics next and the self last. Former President of Nepal Council of World Affairs, Dr. Mohan Prasad Lohani, was honored for his contribution in the field of Nepal's diplomacy. India's naval ship Kuthar, a Kukri-class corvette, arrived at the Colombo port in Sri Lanka on Monday for a 3-day visit. During the visit, the ship formally handed over a refilled firefighting system cylinder for Sri Lanka Coastal Guard ship Suraksha. The visit includes professional interactions, joint exercises and sporting events, reinforcing India's neighbourhood-first policy and maritime security cooperation under the Sagar vision. And still to come on DD India Newshour. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh calls upon citizens to contribute wholeheartedly to welfare of soldiers and their families.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy, always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Newshour. I'm Gautam Roy. And before we go any further, let's look at top stories. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi visits Gir on World Wildlife Day, releases the first ever riverine dolphin estimation report in the National Wildlife Board meeting at the world's only Asiatic lion sanctuary. The Hamas says Israel is trying to push back the Gaza situation to square one, as Tel Aviv proposes a temporary extension into April without any further truce talks immediately. And a Cinderella story with a twist, Anora sweeps the Academy Awards, wins 5 Oscars including Best Picture, Best Director and Best Actress. Adrian Brody triumphs for The Brutalist. Well, let's now take you back to our top story, which is about World Wildlife Day, where we saw India's Prime Minister heading to Gir, which is the world's only Asiatic lion sanctuary, and also conducting a meeting of the nation's wildlife board there and taking some critical decisions which will pave the view for future preservation of India's wildlife and enriching its biodiversity, keeping it going and making further progress on that front as far as fighting degradation of forests and wildlife is concerned. We are joined by Rakesh Kumar Jagenia, Deputy Inspector General of the Ministry of Forests. Good evening to you, Mr. Jagenia. What do you make of India's conservation journey so far and the kind of progress it has made, particularly in recent years?
So first of all, I would like to wish everyone a very happy World Wildlife Day.
Very happy World Wildlife Day to you too.
We are fortunate today that the National Board for Wildlife, which is headed by Honorable Prime Minister, it held its 7th meeting and it was chaired by Honorable Prime Minister himself. So this is a big message which has reached to the citizens of the country. And if I can recall, the conservation efforts the Government of India and the state governments have taken, there have been an increase in the number of protected areas which have been constituted under the provisions of Wildlife Protection Act. We were 757 in 2014 and now we have 1,135 protected areas, which include national parks, sanctuaries, community reserves and conservation reserves. In the last decade, the tiger population has increased from 2,226 in the year 2014 to 3,682 in the year 2022, when the last tiger estimation reports were brought out. The lion population, which was 523 in the year 2015, had grown to 674 in the year 2020, and now in May 2025, as Honorable Prime Minister has announced, we will be having the 16th Asiatic lion estimation exercise. We have also estimated scientifically for the first time the population of snow leopards in the country, and it was a massive exercise which was carried out from the year 2019 to 2023, and the population estimated for the snow leopard in the country is 718. We also carried out a massive scientific assessment exercise for the river dolphins, and the estimated population is 6,327.
Yes.
So we have grown leap and bounds in terms of wildlife conservation, and we have shown the world how the wildlife conservation in India is taking a lot of strides.
But how's it happened? What do you think are the hallmarks of India's conservation efforts, which perhaps the world could also look at closely to learn from?
If I can say, we have a very large population and we have a very limited geographical area. But the way in which we have balanced conservation and development is an example to the entire world. Despite a developing nation, we have made the construction of animal underpasses, overpasses, wherever the corridors of wildlife is getting affected. And this does not come at this comes at a very high cost. But we have balanced conservation and development through such kind of measures which are examples to the entire world. We have involved communities in our conservation efforts. We are promoting ecotourism. We are reaching out to students. We are reaching out to communities which are living on the fringe villages of these protected areas. So we are doing tremendous community outreach activities to reach out to the people.
And in terms of the kind of challenges that still exist, and even future challenges that might crop up with the climate change, of course, dictating a lot of human and all living creatures' activities. Really, do you think that these modern tools that are coming to bear now, I'm talking about the use of AI, ML, the use of drones, and other innovations, do you think these would be put to the maximum use in India to ensure that we keep making further progress on this path of conservation?
We have been using a lot of advanced
satellite imagery as well.
Satellite imagery as well. We have been using camera tracks. We have been using AI technology. We have been using AI technology in tiger estimation exercises. We have been using AI technology in lion estimation exercises. Our Prime Minister today, on the occasion of World Wildlife Day, and when he chaired the 7th meeting of the National Board for Wildlife, has also stressed a lot on the use of modern technologies like AI to artificial intelligence, machine learning for meeting out the challenges which may crop up in the future and to deal with the situations of human-wildlife conflict in the country through this kind of modern technologies.
And could you also explain to everyone as to how the efforts to conserve the environment altogether that are taking place in the country also dovetail into preservation and conservation of wildlife?
We, as I said, we are involving a lot of communities. Our scientific institutions like Wildlife Institute of India, Zoological Survey of India, Botanical Survey of India, and our organizations like Wildlife Crime Control Bureau, our line ministries like the Ministry of Tourism. Like today's National Board for Wildlife was historic in terms that all the senior dignitaries, all the senior officers of Government of India were present. So this shows the commitment of our country for wildlife conservation and the importance which we give to the wildlife conservation in our country.
Right. Thank you for talking about the kind of efforts that India has made, Mr. Jagenia, on this critical day, World Wildlife Day. Once again, very happy World Wildlife Day to you and all our viewers. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has called upon the citizens to contribute wholeheartedly to the welfare of soldiers and their families, terming it as the national duty of every citizen. He was addressing the Armed Forces Flag Day Corporate Social Responsibility or CSR conclave in New Delhi. The Defence Minister lauded the contribution of India's private sector in realizing the vision of self-reliant India of Prime Minister Modi. He also spoke of the centuries-old tradition of philanthropy that exists in all Indian religions and sects.
हमारा देश आत्मनिर्भरता की ओर तेजी से कदम आगे बढ़ा चुका है, उसमें मेजर कंट्रीब्यूशन में पब्लिक सेक्टर का भी है, इसको कोई नकार नहीं सकता।
आगे
लेकिन एक मेजर कंट्रीब्यूशन हमारे प्राइवेट सेक्टर का है, जो कि भारत आत्मनिर्भरता की ओर तेजी से आगे बढ़ा रहा है। और डिफेंस सेक्टर में तो प्राइवेट सेक्टर की भूमिका लगातार बढ़ती चली आ रही है और मैं मानता हूं कि इसको और अधिक बढ़ने की आवश्यकता है।
India's Consul General in Shanghai, Pratik Mathur, has paid a working visit to AI hub Hangzhou in the Eastern China region. The CG also welcomed and interacted with the Indian delegation for the 62nd IPCC climate talks. And still to come on DD India Newshour. Trailer making workshop is part of Create in India challenge in the backdrop of Waves Summit. And India and Australia set to lock horns once again in an ICC knockout match on Tuesday. And International Olympic Committee's top post contender Sebastian Coe feels India has a strong case to host the 2036 Olympics. You're watching DD India Newshour. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, the Indian Yoga Association has successfully hosted its 4th National State Chapter Conclave under the theme, The Present and the Future. The conclave brought together key stakeholders, yoga luminaries and policy leaders to strengthen the role of state chapters and discuss strategies for accreditation, certification and research in yoga. One of the key highlights was the Yoga Seva Puraskar Award ceremony. The event concluded with a keynote address by Sri Ravi Shankar, who is the chairperson of the IYA, who also launched the IYA mobile app. And speaking exclusively with ED India, Sri Ravi Shankar emphasized the importance of yoga and the benefits associated with it.
We have with us Sri Ravi Shankar ji, and let's ask him, sir, tell us about the significance of yoga and how it helps in the body and mind purification.
See, every child is born with these tendencies. If you observe a child from the age of 3 months to 3 years, you will learn all the yogasanas. A child is a yogi. So similarly, yogasanas and pranayama, meditation, all these together we call yoga. And when doing yoga, it enhances your abilities. It makes you free from mental trauma and make you more resilient. There are hundreds of benefits by that. So a sane person remain sane should do yoga. And someone want to be happy, they must do yoga.
For a message to those youngsters especially, and for all those people who want to start yoga?
It's very cool to be doing yoga. Remember, it's a big fashion to do yoga. Do yoga and be smart. And it also enhances your intuitive ability. Okay? Thank you.
So that was Sri Ravi Shankar ji, who said that doing yoga is a very cool thing. And if you want to be sane and enjoy life, one has to do yoga every day. With camera person Yogesh, this is Siddharth Bhardwaj reporting for DD India in New Delhi.
Now, the 97th edition of the Academy Awards, or the Oscars, honouring the best of cinema in 2024, concluded on Sunday. Hosted by Conan O'Brien, this year's ceremony was filled with both expected wins and surprising moments. A big one from Anora. Deepanshu Kashyap has the details in this report.
The sex worker drama Anora took home this year's Best Picture at the 97th Academy Awards held at the Dolby Theatre in Hollywood, Los Angeles. Other notable honors included Best Actress for Mikey Madison. The film's director, Sean Baker, earned 4 trophies, making him only the second person in history to achieve this feat since Walt Disney. Now, this included Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Film Editing. Anora also won Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, making it the fourth film ever to win the top honors at both prestigious ceremonies. The Brutalist, about a Holocaust survivor, took home 3 awards, including Best Actor for Adrian Brody, Best Cinematography for Lowell Crawley, and Best Original Score for Daniel Bloomberg. Brody won his second Best Actor award following his 2002 victory for The Pianist. The Spanish-language musical thriller Emilia Perez won 2 Oscars, Best Supporting Actress for Zoe Saldana and Best Original Song for Elmore. The sci-fi epic Dune Part 2 and the fantasy film Wicked each earned 2 awards in the technical categories. Dune Part 2 won for Best Sound and Best Visual Effects, while Wicked claimed Best Costume and Best Production Design. In animation category, Flow won Best Animated Feature, making Latvia's first Academy Award, while In the Shadow of the Cypress won Best Animated Short. In the documentary categories, The Only Girl in the Orchestra took Best Documentary Short, while No Other Land won Best Documentary Feature. Other winners included Kieran Culkin for Best Supporting Actor for A Real Pain, Peter Strumhan for Best Adapted Screenplay for Conclave, and Brazil's Walter for Best International Feature Film for I'm Still Here. Maggie Smith, Gina Rowlands, Chris Christopherson, Gene Hackman, Terry Garr, and Donald Sutherland were among those honoured in the Memoriam segment, alongside David Lynch and James Earl Jones. The ceremony was hosted by comedian Conan O'Brien, who also paid tribute to the firefighters who risked their lives during the Los Angeles wildfires in January, calling them heroes. With inputs from Ditanshu Kashyap, DD India.
India's Minister of Information and Broadcasting on Monday organized a trailer-making workshop in a Bengaluru college as part of the Create in India challenge in the backdrop of the World Audio and Visual Entertainment Summit Waves. Yashwant Shehnai, Regional Officer of Central Board of Film Certification, was present at the event. Waves Bazaar is a revolutionary online marketplace which was designed to connect professionals, businesses and creators across the global entertainment ecosystem. Elephant processions are an integral part of religious festivals in India, but a series of elephant attacks have once again raised questions on animal cruelty and public safety. After recent incidents, PETA India has come up with an unconventional solution, that is robotic elephants. DD India's Yash Chaturvedi reports.
Many festivals and religious rituals in the southern Indian states are incomplete without elephants. But the celebrations have often turned into a tale of disaster as the animal went berserk, resulting in tragic consequences. In the last 1 month alone, elephant attacks have claimed 5 lives and injured several others in Kerala. The latest incidents have reignited the debate on the ways to keep the festivities safe without diluting the sentiments. The answer to a complex religious riddle have been delivered by science, a robo-elephant. Made of fiberglass, rubber and iron frames, the mechanical elephant can move their ears and tails. Some models can even carry up to 4 people during processions. Animal rights activists argue that these robots align with religious traditions. Last year, one temple in Kerala introduced Raman, a robotic elephant. India is home to nearly 60% of the Asian elephant population, a species classified as endangered. With shrinking forests, human-elephant conflicts are rising. Official data shows 629 people were killed by elephants across India in 23-24, while 121 elephants died due to human-related causes. The project is still at developmental stage with many temples. Temple authorities and devotees are yet to form up plans to give up animals permanently and adopt the move to mechanical elephants. But the makers of another novel offer for those keen on an elephant at their weddings, models can be rented without the cumbersome permits required for a costly real one. Bureau Report, DD India.
So innovation for conservation is a feature in this part of the show as well. Now, time to get you sporting updates. And first we talk about cricket. Ajinkya Rahane has been appointed as the captain of Kolkata Knight Riders for the upcoming IPL season, while Venkatesh Iyer has got the vice captain's post. Rahane expressed his excitement, saying, "Leading KKR is an honour. We have a well-balanced squad and I look forward to working together to defend our title." This was within quotes. And KKR will begin its IPL 2025 campaign against Royal Challengers Bengaluru on the 22nd of this month at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata. KKR has won 3 IPL titles and finished as a runner-up in 2021. India and Australia will face off in a high-voltage showdown in the first semi-final of the ICC Champions Trophy at the Dubai International Stadium on Tuesday. The men in blue will be bidding for their third title after emerging victorious in the 2002 and 2013 editions of the tournament. This will be India's 6th Champions Trophy semi-final appearance, and it will be featuring a last 4 match for the 3rd consecutive time in the competition's history. More in this report.
The ground is ready for yet another India versus Australia clash. The stage is set for the ICC Champions Trophy semi-final, and the question is, will India pass the Australian test? Can India defy heads' brilliance, or will they be knocked out by the Kangaroos' punch? Both teams come into the high-voltage clash undefeated. India have won all their matches played in Dubai, while Australia won 1 match. Their other 2 matches were washed out. Although they don't have their frontline players in the squad, but senior players have taken the onus upon themselves. Even without their lead cast of Pat Cummins, Josh Hazlewood and Mitchell Starc, the Aussies are a resilient beast in global tournaments. Their stunning chase of 352 against England at Lahore a few days back validates the thought. History weighs heavily against India, but they would rely on a potent spin battery and familiarity with the conditions to break the knockout jinx against an undermanned Kangaroos. Their pre-tournament decision to fill the squad with 5 spinners drew a lot of flack from all corners, but it is now proving to be a masterstroke on the slow pitches in Dubai. The Indian spin quartet of Chakravarti, Kuldeep Yadav, Ravindra Jadeja and Akshar Patel walked away with 9 New Zealand wickets. Varun will be an unfamiliar customer to a large chunk of the Australian batting order. In the current Australian setup, only Glenn Maxwell and skipper Smith have faced Varun before. Maxwell batted against the Indian spinner in 6 Indian Premier League matches, scoring 46 runs of 30 balls, while being dismissed thrice. Smith encountered Varun just once, scoring 14 from 10 without being dismissed. India will likely bank on this element of mystery to gain a foothold in the game. In the head-to-head battle, India leads 2-1 from 4 encounters, with 1 match having no result. Talking about their recent meetings, Australia blanked India in 2023 World Cup final at home against the odds. India also lost in the semi-finals of the 2015 ODI World Cup and succumbed to them in the World Test Championship final in 2023. The last time India triumphed against Australia in the knockout stage of an ICC event was way back in the 2011 World Cup quarter-final. Overall, the India versus Australia semi-final could be a trial-by-spin contest and will also show which cricketing giant thrives under knockout game pressure. Sports Desk, DD India.
So it's a crucial encounter. Indian skipper, captain, that is Rohit Sharma, is confident ahead of his team's semi-final clash against Australia, emphasizing the process over revenge despite their previous defeat to the same opposition in the 2023 World Cup final.
It's a great opposition to play against. All we had to do is what we've been thinking about last 3 games, and we have to approach that game in a similar fashion. We understand the opposition and how they play and stuff like that, but I think the more and more we focus on what we need to do as a group, as a player, as a batting unit, as a bowling unit, that helps us a lot. I said it, yes, but look, Australia have been such a great team over the years, so we will expect some fight backs, we will expect some nervy times as well in the middle, but that is how the game is being played these days.
Now, the International Olympic Committee and its top post contender Sebastian Coe feels that India has a strong case to host the 2036 Olympics. although he said that the competition would be tough, with several other countries throwing their hats into the ring. Poland, Indonesia, South Africa, Qatar, Hungary, Turkey, Mexico and Egypt are among other countries which have expressed a desire to host the same games. India has already submitted the letter of intent to host the 2036 Summer Olympics and Paralympic Games to the IOC's Future Host Commission. And that's all we have for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. You can scan the QR code on the screen and download the app right away. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.